Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. Quick one today, I think. I was thinking over the weekend, I wonder how Chris Sewell gets his ideas and how does he go about doing the work. Chris Sewell being baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. And then I thought, I wonder if people would be interested in that for me. Maybe not, which is fine too. But then I thought I'd just go through kind of the idea from idea to execution and then afterwards of one of my videos. And kind of, I don't know, I think you might be interested. I'm also, here's what I have planned for this week. Probably an overview of the Evan Mathis scandal, because people mentioned that in my comments from Friday's Attic Find Friday. And I think it's an interesting story. So I didn't consider mentioning it because I didn't want it to overtake that story on Friday. But the Evan Mathis scandal, probably this week, card show, Saturday, a couple of other things. But so first of all, with one of my videos, I have to come up with a topic. And how do I come up with those topics? Usually it is just reading something and they mention a certain vintage set or pre-war set, and I'll say, oh, that's interesting. Or I'll see an auction for a card that went for huge amounts, and I'll get an idea that way. And then I have to think, is this good for my channel growth or is it good for my channel retention? Both of which are very important. So I have a large vintage baseball subscriber base. So I want to get at least one vintage pre-war, something like that video in per week. I find it to be very important for the satisfaction of my subscriber base, but I also want to grow my channel, and so I venture out into other things occasionally, and that's also important. So, or is it just something that I find interesting, and I hope my subscribers will too, like this very thing here. Sometimes I'm very short on time, like this one, so I can just jot some notes down and then film it. No editing or very little editing required. Sometimes I have plenty of time, like I'm up at 5 in the morning and I'm sitting there for an hour and I'll do some research. I'll take all the notes I need. I'll just decide on the video. I might even film it before starting the work. Film sounds so fancy when all I do is pop my iPhone into a tripod. I record it. Let's say that. Sometimes, though, videos don't work out. Like I was watching Chris Sewell's video with Mike Moynihan, where they were doing baseball card trivia, and Jeremy, the Texas Snowman, mentioned 1957 Topps 4th series was short printed more so than the 5th series, which I found very interesting. And he said, I don't know why that was. And I said, well, I'm going to find out and I'm going to do a video on it because that's really interesting to me, and I think it'll be interesting to others too. I couldn't find it. There were a lot of places that mentioned that the 4th series was short printed, but nowhere did I find out why. And it flummoxed me. And I even emailed Chris about it and said, hey, do you know why? And he said, nope, no one, it's not out there. So if you know, I would love to know. Email it to me. I don't know if you can add a link in comments. The YouTube comments protection agency or whatever doesn't allow links or email addresses or things like that. I don't know how to explain it. So then I do all this research and I try to find multiple sources, because in one source you might find a lot of details that you need, and then you find another source and it might have one really interesting, important detail that wasn't in the original source. And then in the third one you might find another interesting detail, and they could be small but important. And then in the video I want to mention the sources if they're baseball card related. So if it's like Sports Collectors Daily or Sports Collectors Digest or Hobby News Daily, I'm going to mention those as the sources. If it's some major, like if it's Forbes or Fortune.com, I might not. I also get some ideas from emails from viewers. I have a handful of emails in my inbox right now. Sorry if you're one of them. For ideas for videos, I either will tell you this is awesome, but I'm not going to get a video out of it, or I might tell you I'm going to do a video and then I will label it as future video, but it's probably going to be a while. And I tend to do videos based on mood. I'm kind of like George Costanza, getting dressed in the morning. I dress based on mood. I do my videos based on mood. When I wake up in the morning, I don't usually have an idea of what I'm going to do for a video that day. I might have 5 videos that I have planned out for the next couple of weeks, but like tomorrow I might wake up and say Evan Mathis scandals today. It might be Wednesday. It's probably not going to be tomorrow. I've got a busy day. So I write all my notes down. I'm actually going to give you an image here of my Attic Find Friday from I think last week. Notes, at least the first page of notes, there were 3 or 4 pages, and there usually are, on a front and back index card, small handwriting, and it's just bullet points. I don't write a script or anything. I just want to look down real quick and remember, oh yeah, I need to mention this. For the most part, I have what I want to talk about memorized. Sometimes my handwriting is really bad. Well, it's always really bad, but sometimes I can't even read it and I'll have to go, what was I trying to say there? I don't remember. I also will grab photos. As I'm doing the research, it's important to grab the photos then. Sometimes I do the research. Sometimes I grab the photos afterwards, though. Like if I'm talking about a PSA 8 that went for $420,000, I might grab that photo afterwards because I haven't actually gone and looked for that photo. I just happen to know from the article that it sold for that much. I also use notes on my iPhone. So if I'm not sitting at my desk when I do the research, I'm just going to put it in a note on my iPhone. And I actually have all my list of ideas and other things. I have this list of ideas that has hundreds of ideas on my iPhone. I'll put a video up here of me scrolling through it. It is messy, and some of them I've done, some of them I haven't. Some of them were 2 years ago, and I would never consider doing them now because I've evolved. And then I edit. So after I'm done with recording the video, I do an edit, and some of those edits take a long time. Some of them don't. This one might take me 5 minutes. Some of them are really quick. And that's also important when considering what video I'm doing that day. Is it something that I can do? I can film it in 10 minutes, record it in 10 minutes, and then I can edit it in 10 minutes, and then post it, and boom, done. Some days I might spend an hour and a half or 2 hours prepping, researching, recording, editing. So those are heavy days. Those are usually the Attic Find Fridays, or I don't know, like a pre-war vintage set might take me a while. But I don't have that time on work days, of course. I also, during the editing process, will note mistakes, and you'll see I'll edit in corrections of myself, which always annoys me. I wish I had more time to just re-record that section, but I don't. So then I start the upload, and I have to think about a catchy title. The catchy title is important. When I was at the National last year, I remember I was at the YouTube get-together afterwards, a content creator get-together. And I remember another content creator talking about how the bigger YouTubers used catchy titles and fancy thumbnails, and this person hated those, and said the cards should speak for themselves. And if we're showing cards and talking about cards, those things should speak for themselves. And I would say the cards can't speak for themselves if you don't get eyeballs on your videos. If you don't get people coming, clicking, seeing them, your cards can't speak for themselves. Aaron Rodgers was just acquired by the Jets. As I'm sitting here recording this, the alert pops up on my phone. That's amazing. Where was I? Oh yeah, eyeballs. So you've got to have a catchy title. And first of all, I always want to make sure that I'm not misleading my viewers or potential subscribers. I want the title to be catchy, but also very honest and not clickbaity. I also want it to be search engine optimized. So I actually have a lot of people who say, I was Googling for this and discovered your channel that way. And then I create the thumbnail, which also is one of those things that annoys other collectors who are YouTubers when you use fancy thumbnails, but it works. It works. And it only takes me 3 or 4 minutes. I use an app called Promio, which took me a little time to get used to, but it is amazing. And I started using this in January, and my thumbnails have improved infinitely since January. My first 18 months, I didn't get a ton of views or subscribers. I was at 2,400 subscribers, and in the last 3.5 months, I've almost doubled that. And a lot of that has to do with new viewers coming in, which is huge. If you can convert new viewers into subscribers, that's the key. That's the important thing. That's how you're going to get them to see your cards and the cards that you want to talk about and hear your stories, in my case. So those thumbnails I create using Promio. I've tried putting my face in them because everybody says if you do a crazy face, I don't like doing that, and I don't think it really worked any better than putting the cards in or a cool font. So I want the story to be about the cards or the people. I don't want the story to be about me. So I stick now with putting the cards or the topic of the story in the thumbnail along with some sort of catchy title. And then I publish it, and then I obsess over the statistics for the next few hours to see how the video is doing. And then I kind of, after I get a really good sense of it over the first few hours, and I go to bed, and there's my cat meowing like crazy. And the next morning, I don't really think much of the video. I'll look and see what it did overnight, but I don't really give it much thought after that. So that's it. Let me know if you're interested in this behind the scenes of my channel. I don't know if there will be any other behind the scenes thing I would ever be able to do, but I thought I'd provide this to subscribers. I guess if I had membership options on YouTube with a members only, this would probably go there. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope you guys have a great week.